Hi everybody, and welcome to Passel Estate's Facebook Live Wine Chat. This is our winter edition, live from the tasting room. I'm Wendy, one of the owners and founders of Passel Estate, and this is the lovely Megan, our tasting room manager at the vineyard here in Margaret River. Hey Megan.
Hello, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Now, please people send us lots of likes and hearts because we don't like talking to ourselves. We feel really silly. And if you have some comments, I've got the laptop in front of me and we'll obviously try and answer them and answer all of your questions. But we thought this was a great opportunity to introduce you to our beautiful, cosy winter tasting room. Well, it's our tasting room all seasons. And also into the lovely Megan, who is responsible for making sure that everybody that visits us has a wonderful time. So Megan, you've been working with us actually for nearly 4 years, which is fabulous because we're only about 5 years old as an estate and a producer, although our vines are obviously much, much older. Megan, tell us a little about you. You're a local girl, I think.
I've been down here nearly 6 years, so I wouldn't be classed as local, but I'm local to the Perth Hills. So
that's local. You're from WA.
Yeah, that's lovely. So I've enjoyed my time down here in the wine industry. Up in Perth, I was in the corporate world and in the travel industry as well, and always interested in wine nights and tasting. And it was just a gradual progression to finding these beautiful wines.
Wonderful. And of course, that's why you chose us, of course.
Absolutely.
Wines. And actually, Megan, besides, and we have a heart. Hello, whoever gave us a heart, please ask us a question as well. And we can talk about whatever you would like us to talk about as we're chatting about our wines and our tasting room. So the other thing about Megan, besides obviously taking people through our wines whenever they visit, she also is very integral in some of the really interesting and I think special, unique tasting experiences that we offer here at Passel Estate, and we'll talk about some of those a bit later and some of your favourites. But Megan has been absolutely instrumental in putting all of that together, and I know our visitors really enjoy what she puts on for them. So if you haven't come yet, please come. Let's talk about the wines a little bit, shall we? We obviously have quite a small portfolio. We have 4 core wines, as most of you will already know. We make the Sauvignon Blanc, the Chardonnay, the Shiraz, and the Cabernet, and then the 2 reserves of the red wines. That's perfectly formed, if you ask me, but it is quite a small range. Do you have any people reacting to that when they visit? What's your experience?
I think people love that because you're not inundated with a lot of wines. And what I get a lot is that people say, I love all of your wines. You know, usually when you go for a tasting, there's a couple that stand out. We're very lucky.
Yeah, I love all of our wines too. What are you drinking? Which one do you love most?
As a lot of people will know about me, I am a Chardonnay lover. And luckily, I have loved every one of our vintages. So I'm on the 2018 vintage.
That's
it's
what
a
we're pouring
beautiful Chardonnay. Yeah, this is lovely. It's such a beautiful vintage down here, the 2018. What lovely ripening, as you know. So beautiful peachy flavours coming through.
Yeah, it was a really warm, beautiful vintage. Some of the winemakers think it was one of the most typical Margaret River vintages, as again, probably many of you already know, 2018. So we had a very long, dry, growing and ripening period, which led to this really rich fruit, fully developed, beautiful sugar profiles, really translating into rich and beautiful fruit forward.
But it's lovely to see people that don't usually have Chardonnays, that drink a Chardonnay in their normal life, actually enjoying this, because it is still that really lovely new age style where it's not overpowering and you can really enjoy it at any time of the day, any time of the year.
Yes, and particularly at 5:30 in the evening.
So I'm going
doing
to
a tasting stream. So yeah, enjoy. I'm a bit jealous because I love the Chardonnay as well, but I'm drinking something different tonight, which I'll talk about later. So yeah, the Chardonnay, look, and of course Chardonnay is typical of Margaret River, so everybody that comes to a vineyard in Margaret River is going to expect to taste a lovely, beautiful, fragrant, creamy Chardonnay like ours. And it's quite fun because there are 2 things I think which are particularly fun about our Chardonnay, and please interject if I'm stealing your thunder here. This is the kind of thing you need to talk about with your lovely visitors. Number 1 is, as Megan says, this is a 2018 vintage. Perfect drinking right now. It will keep going for a few years if you want to cellar it, but it's absolutely pitch perfect right now. And that's, I think, one of the lovely features for people coming here and tasting our wines. You will find that most of the other wineries, particularly the bigger ones, are currently serving much younger releases. They're on their 2020, or even, as I discovered just this week, on one of the other estates, They're 2021. Nothing wrong with those wines. They're beautiful wines, but they're obviously all much younger in their development. And so we're very happy to be able to serve our 2018 Chardonnay right now, when it is just...
It's quite common, isn't it, to have some really young wines out of the tastings, and I love an aged Chardonnay, so we're very lucky that we have a few of our back vintages available as well.
We do have a few back vintages. You have to be a member of our wine club to enjoy those. We have another another member of our wine club. You get some of the older vintages as well. But absolutely, we should talk about the wine club in a second as well.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, we could talk about it now because
let's do it.
We have two wine clubs, the Provenance Club and the Discovery Club. But before Megan tells you about those, one of the things I think is really fun as we're talking about the Chardonnay is we'll do what you like, frankly. You want to join a club and have one made up just for you, we will. And one of our Provenance members has done just that, and they get delivered 3 times a year 12 bottles of Chardonnay, right?
Yes.
So we do have a bespoke Chardonnay club.
Absolutely.
And currently for one person, but anybody listening who would like to join that, send Megan an email, she'll sort it out for you.
Yeah, so we have developed the wine club to be a wine club that we love and how we like it, because sometimes you look into the cellar and there's not enough Chardonnay, so you don't want a whole lot of reds coming to you. So you can call us or email us anytime and we can change your order. So it's lovely and flexible, which completely I think a good wine club needs to be.
Yeah, so I guess to explain what we do for the wine clubs, if you do decide to join, is that you sign up to take delivery either 3 times a year of 12 or 4 times a year of 6 wines for at least a year, and very convenient. They're just going to turn up at the designated times, but you will receive an email from us beforehand saying it's time for your wine club delivery. Here's what we're going to send you today. This is what we've selected, and as Megan says, it'll sometimes include some back vintages, it'll sometimes include some pre-release, but it also will say, most importantly, but feel free to change your own selection and click here and let us know what you'd like us to send if you'd rather do so. So it really is completely flexible.
Yeah, we're very lucky. We've got some beautiful wine club members.
We have. One that's just commented to us. John, hi there. Hello. He joined us on Saturday. We had a barbecue on Saturday, and he's saying how nice it is. Thank you so much for joining. Really kind of you to join us on Saturday, and of course tonight on the live stream. We'll have to talk about our event later as well.
Yeah, definitely. Barry on the barbecue.
Yes, Barry. Yes, we're very hands-on here at Passel Estate. That's great. Let us know if there's anything you'd like us to talk about while we're sitting here chatting away in the tasting room this evening. But I think on the subject of wine clubs, tell us a little bit. So in return for that commitment and that flexibility and that opportunity to have all those access to all those wines that aren't available to the average person, what else do you get with the wine club?
Well, I think that's a really big thing that you're talking about, having access to those museums. Well, it is for me, and anyone that loves a museum and older wine as well, and being able to revisit something that you loved. But also we do have some beautiful events we were talking about with Barry recently on the weekend, and there's always a VIP
little something
add-on
for
our wine club members. And coming up, we're going to be doing some special events just for our wine club later in the year.
Yes, I mean that's something. One of the things you have is your very own dedicated wine club dinners and wine club events. During COVID, it's been really difficult to put those on, as you would appreciate. We did manage a couple in Singapore last year, very, very small. It's been a bit harder here in the tasting room for various reasons, but of course we're coming through. The borders are open again, thank goodness. Welcome back, everybody. And we have up our sleeve a couple of things. Hopefully before the end of the year, members of our wine club will receive invitation to a wine dinner at some point in Australia, and also we're planning to do a little exclusive something in the coming months in the tasting room, built around a vertical tasting around some of our wines, and you can then not only get to taste and buy some of those back vintages, but you'll also be able to sit there talking to us and the winemakers about how they're evolving, why they're evolving the way they are, and we'll put on some other celebratory goodies as well. But,
yeah,
that's quite
special
exciting.
treat. Yeah.
And I guess there's also, of course, in return for your wine club loyalty, you get a nice discount on those wines. Not only the ones we send you 3 or 4 times a year, but anything you buy in between it or wish to buy. Even if you want to phone up and order a gift and send it to somebody else, you still get your wine club discounts on that.
And free delivery.
Free delivery most of the time, yes. I think certainly free delivery for the Provenance Club and free delivery on all the club runs for the Discovery Club.
Yeah.
And also, access to events. We had somebody actually who wanted to have a significant birthday here at the estate last summer, and we were able to do something for her after hours, for example. So you're part of our family, and one of the reasons that we keep producing these wines and holding these events. So
and also you get free tastings of our reserve tastings. So the lovely reserve Syrah that you're tasting.
Let's talk about that. Yes. So and the reason, so we mentioned that, of course, there is a tasting fee at Passel Estate, which you will get back normally against any single bottle purchase. But you're sitting down a guided tasting through a minimum of 4, sometimes 6 stunning wines. So that that equates to a good generous glass of premium wine. And so we have to be able to keep producing these wines and keep opening our doors. So there's a tasting fee, but we give it back to you if you buy a bottle of wine, which is great. But there's a special purchase tasting fee on the reserves. Here you can see I'm drinking this one. I love it so much. It's the Syrah, the 2017. So I'm keeping my eye on the comments while I'm talking to you all. 2017 Lot 71 Reserve Syrah, and as you can see, this is available to taste and also, in fact, by the glass in the tasting room, because we keep it under the caravan. And I'm not going to demonstrate how to use this because I'll spill it everywhere. But Megan is absolutely brilliant at it, and she will happily deliver and dispense one of our beautiful reserves to anybody that would like them. So,
absolutely, and of course we've got the beautiful Reserve Cabernet 2016 as well.
Yes.
So wine club members can have a lovely tasting.
Yes.
And
Sharon! So Sharon's one of members of Megan's team. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Thank you for joining us. Yes, she's enjoying the gorgeous Shiraz and Cabernet in the cool weather. It's going down really well in this weather. It really is. So I am drinking the Syrah, our reserve. You can't see it because it's dark outside, but just earlier when we were setting up, we had a lovely view of the Shiraz vines where these come from. And as you all know, because I talk about it all the time, one of the reasons I love this wine is not only that it tastes so beautiful, but it gets so much love and care and attention both in the vineyard and in the winemaking. It's a whole cluster. Ferment, we hand-pick specific rows, we use bigger format oak puncheons, so it's gentler oak intake. We get them from a very rare cupra from the Rhone. It's all so special what goes into making this wine, and I think
so handmade.
So
beautiful.
Handmade and just absolutely stunning. So anybody can come and taste, for a tasting fee, can taste one of these reserves. But if you're a member of the wine club, Megan will pour you a little glass here and there as you wish. And so I guess just finally, before we move on from the wine club, hi sir, hello, that's nice to see you as well. Thank you for joining. Let us know if you have any questions. So just wrapping up a little bit about the wine club. Where and how can people join who aren't able perhaps to visit the tasting room?
Oh, it's really easy. You can phone us, email us, and jump online to our website and join straight away.
And you can join anywhere in Australia and anywhere in Singapore. We have specific clubs because, as you know, Singapore is a very special place for us, and we take our wine into Singapore. So we have 2 clubs, and then even we have some international members who can join online as well. Currently delivering and sending our wines to members in Hong Kong, in particular. So that's our wine club, small and perfectly formed, just like our tasting room and just like our wines. So our tasting room, Megan.
Yes.
What do you love about our tasting room? Why do you like working here?
I think I've said to so many people that have come in that know me that this is the best office window
It is beautiful.
I have ever had, and it still is at night, and these beautiful trees are lit up. It's just gorgeous. It's small and boutique. It's natural. Everything about it has been handpicked by you and Barry to look gorgeous.
Not that I micromanage at all, never, no. And you can't see again because it's dark, but just the windows right here, you're sitting here having a tasting, and as you can see it's really cosy at night and in the winter, but right out there you've got the beautiful tasting room gardens with all the native flowers, you've got the dam, and we've always got so much wildlife. You had ducklings, you were counting the ducklings.
Yes, I love our ducklings.
And then you can see the beehives just in front of the Chardonnay block, and then you've got the Shiraz block. You can see everything, and then just behind here, all visible, is the Nature Conservation Sanctuary. Oh, and so envious you. You mean you don't have this beautiful vision out of your office window in Singapore, say?
Oh, sorry.
And John agrees, it's lovely. It is, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
We have a lot of people to thank for that. Our wonderful gardener, Dave.
Oh, Dave's awesome.
Our wonderful friends, Jenny and Neil, who helped us design the Naturescape Creative, that helped design the gardens, and of course
beautiful
just relocation.
furniture as well,
Yes.
from lovely Gary at Jar Rock.
Can you see all the furniture? It's beautiful. A local artisan, award-winning designer, and a really good friend of ours. Kaza, hi, hello Kaza. How very nice to see you too. Thank you so much. You were at the event on Saturday as well. It's so nice of all of you to join us. Yes, so Gary makes really beautiful things. And we're so lucky that he has been kind enough to make some beautiful things for Passel Estate. So beautiful tasting table that Megan and I are sitting at. You probably can't see, or maybe you can see a little bit over there. The glasses are sitting on another table. One of our barrels that we finished using has been converted into the most incredible table by Gary, with a beautiful glass top, and we've got a number of those outside on the deck as well as inside. He's lovely, and then he does sweet little things. Occasionally he'll carve a little possum into the top of the table or something, just a sweet thing. So it's nice, and it's one of the other things I think which is such a joy about Passel Estate and being here in this community is that we work with all of our friends, we work with our property. It's ace, isn't it? Sorry, I'm taking over again. I'm getting excited. I can't help myself. And so I'm very glad that you enjoy coming to work every day, because I tell you, where would we be without Megan? She is wonderful, and lots of people do tell us, even at the event on Saturday, people are coming up to me saying, oh gosh, Megan really looks after us. She's so good to us. You've got a real trooper there in Megan, and we know we have. We're really, really thrilled. And so you should all come and meet her, and obviously Sharon as well, who's joined us online and is also here when she's working, and also very happy to welcome you.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a great team. We've got such beautiful customers and wine club members. We're very lucky.
Yeah, it's great. It is great. So and I think it's really good in all seasons, because some people would worry perhaps because it is so small and there's so much outdoor space that people enjoy, that in the winter perhaps we don't have a log fire or anything, but as you can see, I hope you can see, it's really cosy.
It's really toasty.
I'm actually quite warm, in fact, toasty.
I know. I'm in short sleeves. I've got a little bit of heating on.
I'm sweating here. But it's really cosy. So why should people come and visit us in the winter, Megan? What?
Why wouldn't you? I think apart from the wine, which is actually number one to come visit us, and the beautiful views that you have outside. It's also some of the experiences that you were talking about. Also, we do our cheese pairings and our cheese platters. My favourite experience, of course, is our beautiful chocolate wine and food pairing by the beautiful Nadia Haskell from Harlequin Desserts. And of course, on your last Facebook Live, you did it live, which is fantastic.
She's going to be mean to me now.
But I did give you a warning that they can get a bit oozy.
Those of you that joined us last time will remember me getting caramel all over my fingers and then licking my fingers.
It was the best
while Megan stood on
ever.
in the background heckling and laughing. So I'm not going to be kind to her on this live stream. We're going to get our revenge. But we're not going to eat any of the bonbons, which is a shame, because actually this food and wine pairing that Megan's talking about is amazing. And with each wine, we Nadia, who Megan mentioned and who was on the previous live stream with me, handcrafts these artisanal chocolate encased bonbons that are designed to really amplify and complement the flavours of the wine that they're accompanying. And I'm being distracted because there's another lovely comment about you from John saying, well, you do look after them. And we've only recently rolled the core Shiraz, the 2018 Shiraz, that lovely generous vintage we were talking about, which is where Megan's Chardonnay comes from. We've just released that vintage in the tasting room, and so Nadia has created a brand new bonbon to go with that vintage, because it has different characteristics, as you would expect from a much warmer vintage than the 17, slightly different characteristics. And I tasted it for the first time this week. It's sensational.
It's really interesting.
It's beautiful, and it sounds a bit crazy maybe if I tell you what's in it, but it's perfect. It goes so well with the Shiraz, and it's just exquisite on its own. And it's got miso, wakame seaweed, pepper, caramel. It's incredible, and it's just a little bit of spiciness to it.
But I think that's with all of them, they've got a savoury element, so it's not a normal chocolate.
No, this is not a chocolate pairing.
Very bespoke.
Oh, we have a question from Erin. Hi, Erin. Thank you very much for joining. We really appreciate it. What's your favourite recent vintage? Well, I mean, the 2018 was an incredible vintage.
It was good.
Is that your favourite vintage of the Chardonnay? Or 16 was really good as well, wasn't it?
It was really good, the 16.
But so was the 17. I quite like the
and
slightly
the 17. The 16 was more interesting on the oak flavours that happened over time, and the 17 is really interesting with the fruit as it aged.
Yeah.
Which is why I love revisiting all those aging Chardonnays.
Our very first vintage at not the very first vintage that our grapes were used for, of course, but when we decided we were going to engage our wonderful winemaker Bruce and our fabulous farmer and viticulturist Andy and build the tasting room and create our own wines for all of you and for ourselves, vintage 15 was the very first vintage, and that was an incredible. The reds, the Cabernet from 2015 is really special. I've still got some of the 2015 reserve at home, so. But it's very difficult, very hard to pick a favourite vintage and even a favourite
change.
wine.
Changes constantly.
Well, that's what, I mean, it's romantic, isn't it? It's really romantic because each vintage is different, the climate, the weather conditions, the grape, the harvest. Some of the more challenging vintages, the cooler ones, 19 for example, 17, they're hard work and we're a bit knife edge, are the birds going to eat it all? Are we going to have disease because there's too much rain? But because we have such a talented viticulture crew under the fabulous leadership of Andy, this really puts us in good stead. So even those challenging vintages, that's where I think we really prove the importance of all the attention we put into the viticulture and we come through. So this 17 Syrah, for example, quite a difficult vintage, but what an incredible wine at the end of it. Really fragrant, beautifully developed, aromatic wines, lovely, soft, silky tannins. It's great. So very long-winded way of Erin is saying, I can't have a favourite. I don't have a favourite vintage and I don't have a favourite wine.
And she's saying that she has to return every year.
Please
That's
do.
Correct.
That's great. Come every year, exactly. So you mentioned that the cheese and wine and food pairing being your favourite experience.
Yes.
And what about some of the events you've got lined up for the winter? We've talked about the barbecue, which was with our Shiraz last weekend.
Yes.
Have we got anything else planned?
We are going to be doing another event in spring.
Another barbecue?
Another barbecue.
Excellent. Is Barry going to be
I'm not sure if we can convince Barry to do the barbecue. It may be the wonderful James Llewellyn.
Who also is...
He may not know about that yet. He's on holidays.
A very good friend of ours who's also very helpful and supportive and a fabulous chef as well.
He is, yeah.
Actually, maybe some of you can give us some ideas. We're looking to do a barbecue for the long weekend in September, which is, apparently it's the Queen's birthday in Australia. It's not her birthday in England, but anyway, it's a nice excuse for a long. It's a nice excuse for a long weekend, and we're trying to think what would be nice to deliver. I'm quite partial in spring to a glass of Chardonnay, so I was thinking maybe something to do with, we did a really lovely crayfish and prawn.
That was so lovely. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind repeating that. It was so good. Maybe we could do something else. Chicken, maybe we could do something completely different. So if any of you have any ideas about what you'd like, maybe you guys, Kaz and Will, since you come to all of our events, let us know what you'd like us to lay on in September, and we'll see what we can do. But that's coming up, and that's really fun. People, you come in, glass of wine, the barbecue, sitting out, hopefully if the weather's good, on the lawn, on the picnic rugs, outside on the deck, on the tables, really relaxed, casual event, lots of fine wine, good company. It's just a really nice
it's
way
nice to have
it.
small events where you're really looked after. I think that's what we like.
And you are always looked after at Passel Estate. Megan makes sure of that.
We try our best.
Yes. And we've already talked about what the wine club events are. We've got up our sleeve. What else can we talk about?
We're going to be doing some verticals.
Did we talk about that already? Yes, so we're going to do a vertical for the wine club. We're not quite sure when yet. We've got a couple of dates we're looking at, and it's probably going to be around the Chardonnay and the Cabernet, the King and Queen of Margaret River. And they will be very small events because we don't have enough museums left to do a really large event.
So getting quick when you see that advertised.
Yes, we'll let you know for sure. And of course, it's a long way off, but I think one of our flagship annual event for Chinese New Year, the Jazz in the Vineyard, that's wonderful.
That was lovely last year.
Yeah, it's lovely every year. So, octopus perhaps, barbecue. That's a good idea. I'll talk to Barry about that. Octopus, yum, with Chardonnay. Actually, we just had the lovely chef in Singapore was interviewed by, I think it was WA on a Plate. I think is the event at the moment. It was on his Instagram. And he was interviewed, and he said that he would pair Fremantle octopus with Passel Estate Chardonnay. So maybe we should be inspired. That's Francois Mimio at Bar Tim, one of our favourite restaurants in Singapore. We didn't know he was going to do that. We just flashed up on our live stream, but maybe we can be inspired and pick up his idea. And
that sounds nice.
Hey, maybe we can even fly him in, help do an event. He did promise that. I did a live stream with with him previously, and he did suggest he was going to do that. Look, that's getting a lot of likes and hearts. So if you're watching, Francois, you're booked. But that's a good idea, Kaz. Thank you very much. We will we'll certainly think about that. I think that's a great idea.
Wonderful.
So we've got all these things lined up. We've got this lovely tasting room just waiting for you to come and be seated and enjoy a really special, personalised wine tasting experience. Of course, once we're in the spring, we'll also be able to, and I'm keeping my eye on the comments still, we'll also be able to reintroduce our spring and summer slightly bigger experiences. We do the wine sunsets in the weekends, which is a lovely way to come watch the sunset behind the tree line, behind the vines, enjoy some fine wines, bonbons, cheese, all sorts of other things. And also, of course, the Nature and Wine Walk, which you're really good at. I'm surprised that wasn't one of your favourites. Maybe you didn't mention it because we don't run it in the winter.
We're not running it at the moment.
It's a bit muddy and slippery.
We've got wellies, but we'd rather not.
Oh, actually, Sharon is enjoying our honey. Of course, we also have the honey. You can buy
love the honey.
So we have the bees, of course, as part of our sustainable viticulture practices. They help. They don't.
Barry's bees, we call them.
Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Barry's bees? Okay, we have Barry's bees. And we don't need bees to pollinate vines, they self-pollinate, but they do help pollinate the grasses, the mid-row grasses in between the vines, and they also feed on the marri and the peppies. And so we've got two kind of flavours, if that's the right way.
We do.
Why don't we talk about that?
Well, and Sharon and my favourite, which is probably why there's none left, is the
we sold it already, all of it.
I think there's 1 or 2 jars left.
Okay,
that's it.
come quickly.
Is the peppy honey. So at the beginning of the season, so in early February to late February, we had the peppy trees blossoming, and the bees were honing in on that, and then our bee man, the apiarist,
our beekeeper,
collects that honey, and then later on in March, the marries are blossoming. So then it's collecting that, and they're quite different. It's really interesting.
Yes.
And the peppy honey is a really robust, interesting style of honey that I haven't tasted before. Really interesting.
That's the one you've nearly sold out of.
Yes.
and the marry's a bit more. Which one do we?
The marries are really subtle. It's still a beautiful honey, really lovely.
And so this is raw honey, hand collected from our beehives. We don't do anything with it at all. It's just beautiful. We put it in a jar with a pretty label, of course. We have a pretty label because our labels are pretty.
And we also pour it over our beautiful brie cheeses on our cheese platters.
Which one are we pouring on our cheese platters at the moment?
The marri.
The marri. And actually 100% of the cost of our honey, I think it's $18. Our honey jar.
$18 a jar.
So a 500 gram jar. 100% of that goes back into the conservation at the estate, which is a nice segue, Sharon mentioning it as I was talking about the Nature and Wine Walk, because of course conservation, we're passionate about fine wine, but also conservation at Passel Estate. As you all know, it's inspired our name because of the passel of possums that we've rescued and rehabilitated on the estate, and we continue to revegetate and invest in the bushland sanctuary for all of the native wildlife that we have here. And there's a fabulous walk that you can book to do in the spring and summer months, and a tasting. And Megan's brilliant. She knows all about the different flora and fauna that you might spot if you're lucky, and she'll pour you some Shiraz in situ alongside the vines.
Yeah, right next to the vines.
And then bring you back for a tasting.
Yeah, and a cheese platter.
So is that not also one of your favourites, or perhaps
it is.
It's just seasonal.
It is. It's a seasonal favourite, but I do love a bit of Nadia's chocolate.
Yes. Yeah, who doesn't love a bit of Nadia's chocolate?
But it is a really beautiful conservation walk, and it's nice to download our beautiful photos of our possums.
Yes, because we have wildlife cameras,
yeah,
so we track.
Very lucky.
We track these possums. They're nocturnal, and to make sure they are thriving.
We get excited when we see our little phascogales along with our western ringtail possums, and then I've seen recently a baby brushtail.
Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet. So so it's not just the western ringtail possums who are our little poster child for the conservation efforts. It's a whole host of wonderful creatures, and
of course we did our planting day recently.
We did.
Planted over 200 little tube stock plants.
That was wonderful. So we have a morning, we didn't do it last year for COVID, but we have a morning in May each year where we have a very small group of volunteers come and they help us plant these tube stocks. And Megan is always there, first volunteer, on her day off, coming in.
We had a great group of volunteers.
Yes, we did. And Sharon was there too, who's online.
And Chris, our lovely possum volunteer,
Chris, who
Dave,
is
our gardener, and Catherine came to
Catherine,
help us as well.
loads of
It's lovely.
wonderful supporters and friends, and it's nice. And then we have lunch I say we, I wasn't here for it this year, but I have been for all the other years. We have lunch and a glass of Passel Estate wine to say thank you. It's always
It's a really tough day.
but it's nice, again, it's the whole.
Yeah,
everything
so
we're
hopefully we'll
about.
do another one soon, and maybe a couple of people can help us out again.
Yes. And look, every one of our guided experiences that you can book, a portion of the proceeds of those goes back into the conservation. So just by coming and having a lovely time here, you are helping to support native wildlife in Western Australia. So Megan, we've been talking. I think I've probably talked too much because I should be asking you all the questions, but we've been talking for half an hour. Is there anything else you'd love to share before we say goodnight to people?
Oh, I think we've covered everything that we possibly can. I'm looking at my little sheet notes.
Have you got sheet notes? Sheet notes, terrible. Well, look, I think it's a great opportunity. Thank you, all of you, for joining. Thank you. Look, we've got 111 likes and 98 hearts, so we love that.
And if you haven't been in
I
for
can't
a
tell
while,
is that somebody laughing
visit.
or looking angry? I can't tell. Oh, laughing. Somebody's laughing because we're so amusing.
Possibly.
Hopefully. I don't know what that one is.
That's my point.
Yes, come visit. Come visit. And people should, honestly, you're welcome to drop in for a glass of wine and a cheese platter, but you are really recommended to pre-book.
Definitely.
And that some of these experiences require you to pre-book so we can make sure that we have everything set up and ready for you and you get the personalised service. So pop onto our website. You'll see under Visit Us all the different experiences and just book in advance. It's definitely safest, particularly now the borders are open and people are visiting us again.
Yeah, and if you can't come visit, just give us a call or email and we'll send you some lovely wine.
Yes, Megan@passelestate.com. Very easy.
Very easy.
So look, thank you again for joining us. It's so nice to have the comments and the likes, and I'm really happy to have been able to introduce you to Megan. She really is a wonderful fixture of our tasting room, and yes, have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we'll see you all soon.
Cheers.
Bye bye. And I've got to turn it off. Keep forgetting. Bye bye.